2 more minutes and then we'll start. We are now 12, that's good. Yes, go ahead, Ali. Welcome to Reggie. And welcome, Philippe. Oh, it looks like everybody was waiting for 5 past to join our mass. Participation certificate. I need to check. I need to check with William, who is the president of the IIBA Cameroon chapter, if a participation certificate can be provided. Initially, it wasn't planned, or, oh, okay. Yes, apparently there will be a participation certificate. Yeah, just got a response from him. Okay, perfect. All right. So I promised that we will start at 5 past, and I know that more people are joining, and that's okay. We're a good number already, so I'm quite excited to start with you all. Let me share my screen, and then we can kick it off. I need to let you know when once I've shared my screen, I won't be able to see any chat or anyone who joined. So Derek, I'm counting on your support for watching the Zoom while I'm sharing my screen. Let me share.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So good evening and a warm welcome to all of you to the BA Meetup After Work with a very special and interesting theme today, which is bridging business analysis and data analysis. But let me start by introducing myself. You're probably wondering, who is this talking? My name is Florence Ndum. Professionally, I'm a business analyst, specifically in IT. I'm also a project manager, an agile leader, like a scrum master or agile coach, and a consultant. I have certifications from IIBA. I'm CBAP certified and also AAC, which is Agile Analysis Certification. I'm also a PMP, a Senior Scrum Master, and I have TOGAF, which is an Enterprise Architecture Certification. In total, I have 8 years of experience in different areas, and some of the industries that I've worked in include the telecom industry, the pharma industry, and now most recently in professional development. Now, what is more relevant to you probably today is that I am a member of the IIBA Cameroon team. I'm Vice President for Professional Development, but with a focus specifically on English content. So IIBA Cameroon is the organization that has brought this event to you this evening. So this is a little bit about me. I'm quite happy to connect with all of you on LinkedIn and to continue the conversation later. But for tonight, I'm your host and I'm excited to carry you through this wonderful program we have today. Speaking of which, what do we have planned for today? This is like a mini agenda. I'm going to welcome you, which I'm already doing, and share with you some ground rules. We'll see that next, nothing complicated. And then I'll introduce you to IIBA Cameroon. What is really IIBA Cameroon? What is it about? And then we'll go to the main part, which is our conversation with our guest speakers on the theme of today, Samiha and Derek. And then we'll have enough time for your questions. Enough time, don't worry. And then finally, we'll have a quiz where you'll be able to win a prize. So please pay attention to everything that's being discussed. You don't know where the questions or the quiz are going to come from. So be attentive. And then we'll close. A very short agenda, but we'll be together for about 2 hours. And from my experience, 2 hours go by very fast. So you can look forward to it. So I mentioned ground rules before. They're very simple. Number one, we are on a Zoom call. So please mute your mic when you are not actively speaking because the noise gets through into the call. And I didn't mention this on the slide, but if you are going to speak, maybe you're asking a question or you're contributing a comment, please switch on your video if you're comfortable. But it's always good for us to see the face behind the voice. Yeah, the next one is if you have to say something, raise your hand. One of us will notice it and give you the chance to speak. Otherwise, you can also use the chat to ask your questions or to make a contribution as well. The next one is if you have to speak, introduce yourself so that we know you. This is also a networking event. It's called an afterworks. It's a networking event. We want to know each other in as much as we're discussing quite serious topics. The next one is that the session is recorded. You may have noticed that already. If you are not comfortable with being in the recording, unfortunately, the only option is for you to leave the call. So please just take note of that. And similarly, we're going to be taking photos or screenshots, and your faces and names may appear on these screenshots, and we will communicate them on our social media like LinkedIn, just to tell people how the event went. So if you're not comfortable with these, either your photo or your name appearing, please just let us know, let me know, or let the IIBA know. What we'll do is we'll remove your specific name/photo from the screenshots, but please we're taking photos, and these photos will be shared on our different channels. And lastly, I would love for you all to participate actively and enjoy. It's Friday. This doesn't have to be serious. We want to have a nice time together discussing topics that are relevant to us as professionals or just as curious people. And we want to really network with each other. So please participate, feel free, relax, speak your mind, share your opinions, ask your questions, and have a good time. That's it for the ground rules. So I'm going to start then, as I mentioned, by introducing to you what IIBA Cameroon is. IIBA Cameroon is part of the global IIBA organization, which is International Institute of Business Analysis. So this institute was started in Canada in 2003, but now counts over, as you can see, 120 chapters across the world and about 30,000 members. one of the key things that the IIBA does is to build up and promote the profession of business analysis. And it does so through a guide called the BABOK, so the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, which can give some guidelines for professionals across the world practicing business analysis. So this is a little bit the picture of the global IIBA. But if we're talking about an organization dedicated to the profession of business analysis, I think we should specify what we really mean by business analysis, at least according to the BABOK. So the BABOK says that business analysis is the approach that enables change in a company, in an organization, by defining the needs and recommending solutions that bring value to stakeholders, taking into account their context. This is quite a general and simple definition, and it's intentionally so because a lot of things can go under this umbrella of business analysis. But that is, in essence, what business analysis is. So who exactly is a business analyst? Well, according to the IBA, the business analyst is someone who performs business analysis tasks as described in the BABOK guide. We saw what business analysis means. And actually, it's quite interesting that the people who practice business analysis have a lot of different job titles, a lot of different roles and very different focuses and industries in which they work. So for example, you have those who have strategic orientation, those who are operational, those who are tactical, and you have people who work with data analytics. Hey, like our team today, quite interesting, right? And then you have even cyber security, agile, product ownership, so many different areas and different job titles, different names. You'll be surprised, and some of these people who have these roles may not even know that they practice business analysis, but they do. So you may find yourself having one of these roles. Congratulations, you're a business analyst. Yeah, so just to let you know, it is a very broad profession, and there's a lot of opportunity and possibility with this profession. But let's come back home to IIBA Cameroon, right? What exactly does our chapter represent? So we are focused on Cameroon. We represent IIBA in Cameroon, and we support all the actions of IIBA in Cameroon. We also provide a specific framework for exchanges and information for the Cameroon members or Cameroon professionals, like what we are doing right now. And we promote business analysis practices in all decision-making contexts, to companies, to public bodies, to administrations, associations, and even schools and universities. And finally, we professionalize business analysis activities by providing information on best practices and by training and certifying practitioners. You can contact IIBA Cameroon with these details here. We'll also share them on the chat eventually. They have an office in Douala. There's an email address, a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, and eventually even there will probably be a number, but that's to be confirmed. So that's just a little bit about IIBA Cameroon. Let's talk about what IIBA Cameroon has been up to. And I'm just going to give you a few glimpses. So you see that we've been active. Actually, I forgot to mention IIBA Cameroon is quite young. It started in 2020. and the activities have been picking up year by year. So last year, this was the second or third annual Congress of the IIBA and the biggest so far. We had it in December, and we had a lot of professionals, high-profile professionals as panelists with different organizations partnering and sponsoring and being represented there. It was quite a huge event. But not only from Cameroon, we also had participation from across the world, from IIBA presidents of other chapters, like in Canada, from companies that recruit business analysts abroad, even from professionals who just connected from abroad. So it was quite big and quite interesting. And that set the pace for the activities that we've been having this year. So in January, there was a training done in the Université Catholique d'Afrique Centrale, UCAC, to introduce students to business analysis. And that was quite a success. So it happened in January. Another event that we did was a training on process modeling that happened in February. I don't know if any of you here participated in it, but it's definitely quite valuable for business analysts. And then we launched this series of events called the After Work, which you're now participating in. We had our first After Work with Axel Kumu from Dangote. It was quite fascinating. Those who participated didn't want to go home, so I heard. But that was really a good event. You can see the turnout from the photos and also the food. And next we had a study group online in French. Study groups, just to clarify, are intended to train people in business analysis as per the Babok guide, and also to prepare them for certifications. So the IIBA certifications like ECBA, CCBA, CBAP. IIBA Cameroon runs a number of these study groups. So the first one we did this year was in February. And then we had our second BA meetup online in March. Some of you here may have been part of it, but it was so much, so interesting. We got to discuss product management and how product managers and business analysts collaborate with our guest, Horace Yoba from MTN. And we had a really good time, even though it coincided with a time when there were a lot of internet problems in Cameroon, but we still had a good turnout. So it was a huge success. And we had another BA meetup. So this is the third one. We had one with Marcel Chulege from MTN as well, who was talking about interfunctional collaboration and leadership. And you can see from the images that the event was even bigger than the first one. Hey, so many people, so many fun activities. It just keeps getting better, believe me. In May this month, a second study group was launched, but this one is on site in Douala. It's actually going on at the moment. And another training for process modeling, process re-engineering, process optimization has also been launched. It started in May and it's going on every Saturday. And that brings us to today, our fourth meetup online, our fourth BA meetup, sorry, and our second one online. But what's coming next? There's another BA meetup on site, another after-work event, which will be with Brice Mengolo, a senior manager for enterprise architecture in MTN Cameroon, who was also my former boss. And he'll be talking about human-AI collaboration and how this shapes the future of business analysis. We also have another study group in French and online, which will start on the 18th of June. And very interesting for you to know, a study group online in English, which will be the first one, and that will start on the 27th of June. So I hope I've whet your appetite with some of the events that IIB has been doing. We're very, very active, and we have a lot more planned for the rest of the year. But in order to stay informed of all our events, please follow us on LinkedIn, the IIBA Cameroon chapter, and you'll get all the information about our upcoming events. Okay, so that was it about IIBA Cameroon. Just a brief introduction to our chapter. But let's come back to the topic of today, which I know is why you are all here. The business analyst and the data analyst. If you remember the image I showed earlier with all the different kinds of roles that perform business analysis, the data analyst was actually one of them. But what are the similarities? What are the differences? The business analyst, like typical business analyst, would focus on business needs and provide solutions to meet them. Meanwhile, the data analyst would identify trends and that support decision-making. In terms of orientation, the business analyst would focus more on the business needs and processes. The data analyst will be a bit more technical and will focus on data manipulation, as the name says. Business analyst will be focusing on business needs, which includes data. Interesting to know, business analyst, a data analyst can perform business analysis tasks, but the business analyst typically may not be able or will not need to perform data analysis tasks. Well, the data analyst focuses on data and on statistical analysis as well. And the IIBA actually certifies traditional, or let's say standard business analysts. We have 3 different certifications for that, depending on your level of experience. The CBAP, CCBA, and ECBA. But they also certify data analysts. So the CBDA is specifically for data analysis. In terms of tools, a typical business analyst will be using Office, Jira if they are working in Agile mode, Visio for process visualization, and Confluence, and even SQL. Meanwhile, a typical data analyst will be using tools like Tableau, Power BI, Python, SQL as well. And in terms of main tasks, a business analyst would be providing advice, doing elicitation, writing requirements, specs, support, and change management. Meanwhile, typical data analyst would do data collection, statistical analysis, as we said earlier, and reporting. In terms of salary, this is just an assessment done based on Cameroonian professionals, of course. The range for a typical business analyst is between 250,000 francs CFA and 1 million. Meanwhile, that for a data analyst is just a little bit lower, 150,000 to 700,000. And as I mentioned before, a business analyst can be a data analyst, and data analyst can be a business analyst. And the data analyst can perform business analysis tasks, and a business analyst can also perform data analysis tasks, but there are also cases where they don't do that at all. So there are slight differences in terms of responsibilities for the 2 roles, and this also impacts how much they earn in their organizations. But yeah, these are just ranges taken from studying different data from different professionals. In reality, there's a lot of variation depending on the company, depending on the industry as well. But that gives you a glimpse comparing these two. But I think what is more interesting is that we have here today our special guests who are going to tell us through their experience and their skill set how we can understand business analysis and data analysis, where these two intertwine, what are the connections, how they build up on each other. So we have a very international guest today, all the way from Uganda, called Samiha Naruga, who is a data scientist and AI expert. She's one of our guests today. And then we have our very own man of the house, Derek Tagem, very active in the IBA as well, who happens to wear two hats. So he's a business analyst and a data analyst. So we really look forward to having this conversation with them. Let me stop sharing my screen now and let's get to the real main course of today. Derek and Samiha, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, then, oh, great that we can see you too, Samiha. Okay, so let's just start by hearing from you. Who are you? I intentionally didn't talk too much about you or introduce you too much because I think it's more interesting if you tell us who you are. So Samiha, do you want to start? Who is Samiha Naruga?
Much. I apologize, my video might be on and off because of my bandwidth issues, but my name is Samiha Naruga. And just like Florence has said, I am from Uganda. I'm a data scientist by profession. So a little bit about my academic background. I hold a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering. I also hold a master's degree in computer and system sciences, and my specialty was in data science and machine learning. I have worked as a data scientist, data analyst, IT tutor, Scrum Master, IT project manager, and so I wear sort of several hats. And then I have also I want to talk about the projects I've worked on in data science and machine learning. I currently work with an organization called Artificial Intelligence Research Lab. So I've happened to work on projects that have been helping society. One of them was using artificial intelligence to automate the disease diagnosis process in plants. That was cassava. The app could help farmers automatically diagnose cassava diseases. So that we're using computer vision. Then now we're also currently working on a project that is aimed at automating the diagnosis of cervical cancer. Given an image, the app can be able to tell if someone is susceptible to having cervical cancer or not. Yeah, so that's really it about me. Thank you, Florence.
Thank you, Samiha. And what about you, Derek?
Good evening, Florence. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. Once more, welcome again. So I'm Derek Tagem, an IT specialist. Currently, I am with Tascomstar, a Pan-African satellite operator. About my academic background, master's in telecommunications, IT, and networking. And from there, I've been able to move across many industries like the mobile operator industry, and now presently in the satellite industry. Now, now related to my certifications, I'm certified CBAP, which is a Certified Business Analysis Professional from IBA. I'm also certified in cloud computing, that is in Amazon and Azure. Certification in data engineering, data analyst, precisely, let me precise the data analyst certification, that is data analyst certification from Microsoft, that is Microsoft Power BI data analyst. Now presently at Vascomstar, I am more into pre-sales, IT support, and business analysis. So thank you.
Thank you, Derek and Samiha. So, Derek, you are a business analyst, you do pre-sales, IT support, and you're also a certified data analyst. But tell us a bit more what it means for you to be a business analyst. What's your day-to-day? We know that in different companies and different organizations, people can have that role, business analyst, and be doing different things. What is your day-to-day?
Okay, let me somehow try to restructure my role based on the general knowledge of being a business analyst. A business analyst can intervene in 3 domains or 3 horizon. That is at the strategic level. For example, if you are a business analyst, at the strategic level, you work in close collaboration with top management to decide if your organization, for example, can somehow enter into partnership with another organization that is at strategic level. Now, at the tactical level, it is when you are focused in a particular initiative or in a particular project. Now, at the operational level, you are somehow a business analyst that intervene in day-to-day activities. That is why I somehow I am into that is a business analyst at operational horizon. And my day-to-day activity or task is somehow for me to understand the different needs of our customers. That is, it can either be an opportunity to increase the business, that is to increase the revenue, or it can be a problem that I have to solve. Now, based on the needs of the customer, or first of all, try to understand the situation, how the situation presents itself. Then from there, I can propose some solutions. It can either be a solution or many solution options. So I can propose solutions to the client. Now, if if it is an initiative that I have to propose one or multiple solutions, I also have to put in that. I also have to put some sort of change management or change strategy so that we can move from that problem to the solution. So that is how my day-to-day as a business analyst, that is the tasks that I carry out every day as a business analyst.
Wow, that's quite rich and interesting. Thanks, Derek. Let's then go to Samiha. We heard that Samiha is a data scientist. We've been hearing the data scientist, the data analyst. Actually, the theme of today is about data analysts or data analysis. And we know there are also data engineers. Samiha, what do you do as a data scientist? And can you help us understand the differences between these different data specialties?
Yeah, thank you so much, Florence. I know we have several jargons in data science that are currently being used in data. Let me not say data science, but what I do as a data scientist, I use data to solve complex problems. For instance, I've been talking about how I've worked on 2 projects. Let me speak to one project that involves us to use medical images. Like for instance, we are trying to train a model using medical images so that model in the end can be able to automatically diagnose what the patient is suffering from. So that is what a data scientist does on a daily. What they do is they solve such kinds of complex problems using data and making predictions. So what we do as data analysts, or what I do, is I apply machine learning and statistical techniques to analyze and interpret those large data sets. And then by so doing, I'm sort of like uncovering patterns and then generating insights that can help make decisions. Those decisions could be business related, or there could be decisions that are needed, like let me say in a healthcare sector, to like determine if the patient is susceptible to having a particular disease or not. So that is what a data scientist does. So if we try to break it down under 3 categories, you can try to break it down through 3 categories. One of them would be focus, skills, and tasks. So if you look at a data scientist, the focus is solving complex problems and making predictions. And the skill set that a data scientist needs is they need skills in machine learning, statistical analysis, data modeling, as well as programming. So usually now people use Python, R, depending on their preference and what kind of task they want to carry out. So the tasks that a data scientist does is building those predictive models. For instance, a model that can be used to tell if someone is susceptible to having cancer or not. That is work that is done by a data scientist. Then the data scientist also conducts experiments. Like there are several models in data science that you could use, but what he or she does is to conduct experiments using each of those models, and then he or she is able to sort of like choose the best model, like the model that gives a remarkable performance. Then if you go to a data analyst, just like what Derek has already echoed, the focus is just interpreting data to provide actionable insights for a business. And the skill set they need is, of course, they need things like data visualization, statistical analysis. And you see them using tools like SQL, Excel, Python, Power BI, Derek has talked about, as well as Tableau. And the tasks they do is, of course, cleaning and organizing data, creating reports and dashboards, things like performing best statistical analysis, so on and so forth. So now when we come to a data engineer, if I'm to relate it to our everyday life, we could look at him as a plumber, him or her as a plumber, who is going to just lay the pipes, how that data is going to be transferred, how that data is going to be collected, how that data is going to be stored, how that data is going to be processed. That's what a data engineer does. And the skills they need is they need skills in data architecture, in things like extract, transform, and load processes. They need skills in big data technologies. That's why we talk of things like Hadoop and Spark. I'm sure Derek knows that because he's an expert in that. So the task they do is just to design and manage data pipelines, ensuring data quality and integrity, and ensuring that that data can be accessed by a data analyst when the time for analysis comes. So that is what it's all about.
Okay, thanks so much, Samiha, for really giving us a glimpse into that world of data. Derek actually prepared some slides for us to help us understand the differences a bit deeper into what Samiha just explained to us. But these slides will be shared with you afterwards, probably in the chat, but if not, it will be sent after this session, just for your reference. Thank you, Samiha. Then still on you, Samiha, how have you interacted with business analysis or business analysts in your different experiences as data scientist? You also mentioned your project manager, Scrum Master. How have you been able to collaborate with business analysts?
Okay, so I would start with my experience as a project manager. So there I have worked closely with business analysts to gather detailed requirements for various projects I've been able to manage. And this actually involved understanding the business needs and objectives, and then sort of like translating them into actionable tasks for the technical team. So that's how I interacted with business analysis. And the other point that I would speak to is a stakeholder communication, because when you're a project manager, you have to always talk to the stakeholders. So I facilitated communication between stakeholders and the technical team. And the essence was to ensure that business goals were clearly conveyed and understood. So this in turn helped in aligning project deliverables with business expectations. Then as a data scientist, yes, I have worked with the business analysis before. This project that I was talking about, where we are designing a tool that will help or support health professionals or nurses to automatically diagnose if someone is susceptible to having cervical cancer or not. We've had those scenarios whereby we've had to go to different hospitals in Uganda and talk to the people who are going to take on this product, talk to them and explain to them what we're doing, and then they give us their insights. We wanted to understand their requirements, because in the end, you might design a tool that may not be beneficial to them. Because initially, when we were designing the tool, we thought it was all about automating the diagnosis. But when we went on run and talked to the nurses, they told us, yes, automating the diagnosis is one thing, but then in your tool, can you integrate something like, we need like a feature whereby people will be able to schedule appointments, because you're going to find that we have like a low turn up because people don't want to make those long queues. So that is when I interacted with actually business analysts. We're trying to understand their requirements, and that was integrated into that platform as well. Yeah, so that is what I do.
Oh, that's quite interesting, like from different perspectives as a project manager and also as a data scientist, you found the input the output of a business analyst to be quite key to your work. I think that's a really good point for us to note, those of us in this room who are business analysts or aspiring business analysts. Thank you, Samiha. So Derek, let's go back to you. Tell us a bit more about your data analyst hat. Do you actually work as a data analyst as well as a business analyst, or what does it mean exactly for you?
Okay. Well, as you earlier said, a business analyst can have many titles. Like, for example, if you are a data analyst, you are definitely doing one or two tasks that is related to a business analyst. So me as a data analyst and a business analyst, it is profitable for me because I know the method. That is, I can easily collaborate with the top management or the stakeholders to understand the needs using some of the techniques that some of the things outlined in the BABOK, the same book that you do your introduction you mentioned. So I can easily use those techniques like brainstorming, interviews to interact with the top management to understand actually what they need. And from there, I can use that need to somehow with the tools or the techniques in data analysis to move from the need to the solution. That is, if, for example, if the top management wants to know the sales over sales, that is the sales over sales, or wants somehow to compare the sales of this year to the sales of last year. So I have to understand if really that's what the top management wants, or if there are additional items to that. Then from there, I will now use the techniques or the tools in order to produce that result. And from there, they will be able to judge or take a decision if the sales of last year as compared to the sales of this year are somehow decrease or increase, and what is actually causing that decrease or what is actually causing that increase. Then from there, we can somehow take some strategic decisions to know if we have to somehow focus on a client or a customer, or focus on a particular technology, or bring in a new technology. And if it is the case that we have to bring in a new technology, I, as a business analyst, I have to, again, analyze the possibility of that technology, if the technology will be profitable to the organization, because not all change is profitable to an organization. So I have to analyze, it will somehow go through a process of analysis that I will understand if it is profitable or not. Then from there, I can somehow validate, okay, this technology is okay, we can go for it. And my work as a business analyst will not end there, because bringing in new technology without somehow pushing people to change, because it is very difficult for people to change. That is, if they want to use this new thing, how can that mindset? So I will also put in place some sort of strategy to bring the people to change, to bring people to change so that they can use that new technology, they can adopt it to the day-to-day task. So that is somehow how I'm managing both. That is, as a business analyst and as a data analyst. As a data analyst, I'm just there to analyze data, to provide, to obtain insights from the data so that we can take decision. And as a business analyst, I'm there to optimize the processes, collaborate, communicate, and understand the problems of the organization and all that.
Okay, that's quite interesting. All along I heard you kind of mix the two. So you play both roles, you can put it like that, and you use skills from like the typical business analysis toolbox to help you do a better job as a data analyst. I think that's quite interesting. Thank you, Derek. So let's come back to you, Samiha. I know that you're an AI expert. You've been doing a lot of talks about AI recently. And you're also a data scientist. So I see the connection there. And maybe you are in a good position to tell us the relevance of these data skills right now in the era of AI, when AI is so hot. What do you really recommend to us? How do we handle the situation? Should we be gaining data skills? Should we be gaining AI trainings? What do you think?
Thank you so much, Florence. I think I say this in all my talks. AI is something that we cannot avoid. It is the hot topic and it involves data. Data is the oil of artificial intelligence. So I think with the rise of AI, we're going to see that industries across the board are undergoing a sort of like a significant transformation. So this has led to an increased demand for data skills as organizations seek to harness the power of data to drive innovation and efficiency. So I feel like that's an opportunity that we can tap in. So we can tap in by taking on different courses, utilizing the different resources online to be able to learn about AI and get well acquainted with these data skills. So the other is the integration of AI into business processes, just like Derek has been saying. We have a wide integration of AI into different business processes, requires a robust understanding of data. So it means that it is creating a need. So skills in data science, in data analysis, data engineering are very crucial in this aspect for developing and deploying those AI models effectively. So then we also have this scenario of businesses are increasingly now relying on data-driven decision-making to stay competitive. They are no longer relying on their gut feeling. So this trend is fueling the need for professionals who can interpret data and provide actionable insights. So yeah, those are some of the things that I can think of right now. Then maybe the other one to add is the emerging roles. There's so many roles that are emerging due to the advent of AI and data. And one of them I would speak to is called prompt engineering. So I know we've seen the rise of generative AI. We've seen these LLMs, the likes of ChatGPT, the likes of Bard, the likes of Llama. So all these have been developed and deployed to us, but they're creating new opportunities for us to get jobs. In as much as AI is going to displace us from our jobs, but it's also creating opportunities such as roles like prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is just the ability for someone to learn how to communicate. Like those large language models have a language that they understand. The way we are speaking English, the way we speak French. So you learn how to communicate to it properly. And then by so doing, it will be able to give you back the relevant answers. Because I think we've worked on a project in the lab whereby we're trying to test those LLMs, and we found out they actually do hallucinate. But there are ways in which you can don't speak, but talk to them, communicate with them, and then they will give you relevant answers. So people who do that are called prompt engineers. So learning such techniques is going to be very key and vital in this new era of artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Samiha. What I'm hearing you say is that yes, it is possible to learn, even if we are not AI experts today. There are so many resources out there we can use to upskill ourselves. And something interesting was the last thing you said about prompt engineering. I think there's a lot of parallels with what business analysts do, which is about asking the right questions, to find out what is the need behind what that customer or stakeholder is saying. We have to hone the skills of asking questions. And so this is a good way to step into the AI space with BA skills, prompt engineering. Thanks for that. So I'm going to ask you again before I go back to Derek. What would you recommend for business analysts, for people who are interested in business analysis, to develop in order to either maybe transition into data analysis, or even just to collaborate properly with data experts like yourself, like data scientists or data engineers?
Okay, so one of them, I think, just like you have said, is understand the business need, understand the business context. That is very key. I was giving you an example of the project you're working on, and for us as data scientists, we are only focusing on, yes, we need to develop a tool that will be able to like do automated diagnosis of cervical cancer, and we developed it and we were happy. We thought we had actually met the business need. But when we tried to do market research and we went on ground, the nurses were telling us, yes, that is good, but there's things you should think of. For instance, after the tool has been able to make the diagnosis, can it be able to generate a report? That is something that will also be very helpful, because we take a lot of time just writing those reports. So now that takes me back to my point of, we need to grasp the business problems and goals to ensure that the data analysis or the business analysis or the data science is aligned with the objectives of the business. Then the other is taking on the initiative to learn the different data analysis tools. I know there are many, and every day something always comes up, but you're going to find that the beauty is the more tools that come, like you're going to find that for me, by the time I learned data science and data analysis, we're using R and Python to analyze data. But now there are things like Power BI that have been developed. It's more of a click away. You just click, you just clean your data, and they're making the tools easier so that many people can get on board. Then the other thing is having the mindset of continuous learning. I always tell people this. Our brain is the most powerful neural network. If you look at AI, the idea of AI is they're trying to mimic a human brain, and they're trying to mimic like the neurons in our brain. So they created something called an artificial neural network, but the human brain, the neurons in the human brains are the most powerful. So we should always have that concept of continuous learning. We should utilize our neurons in the brain. So we should always ensure that we stay updated with the latest trends, get to know about the latest technologies that have come out, take on courses. There are free courses that are being offered by Google, by Coursera, in all these. Like, the aim is to equip us with the different data skills. Then data visualization is key. even as a data scientist, I use it a lot. You need to visualize, so because visualizations will help you tell the patterns in your data. They'll help you understand it more, and they will also help you convey the findings from your data in a way that can be understood by the audience, because people really love pictures. We love pictures. Pictures make a lot of sense. So those are the ones that I can think of, Florence.
Thank you so much for all those recommendations. I'm sure that a lot of people have picked up a couple of things. And I'll ask the same question to Derek, actually. If you want me to repeat the question, Derek, is what recommendations do you want to leave us business analysts with in terms of developing the data analysis skills or collaborating with data experts?
Well, I'll start by saying that you can start from being a data analyst and migrate to being a business analyst, or the other way around. That is from being a business analyst to a data analyst. And as we all know, well, I usually like define a business analyst like some sort of an umbrella. And beneath the umbrella, you can add so many skills that you want. Now, to your question, how somehow a business, what are the recommendations that you recommend a business analyst that somehow wants to evolve in the role of a data analyst? As you mentioned earlier, that we have business analysts in so many domains, that is supply chain, logistics, transport, and all that. Now, in the data domain, it somehow depends on the intensity of your role. If somehow you are involved in a data role as a business analyst and you are not so much into analyzing, producing reports or developing dashboards, you can start, if you want to start your journey as a data analyst, I would strongly recommend that you start from statistics, for example, probabilities, that is just the basics. Then from there, you can move on to Excel, that is learn some Excel, but not all Excel because Excel is so broad. That is analytic Excel. Let me put it that way, analytic Excel. Then from there, if you are so interested in data analysis, you can move on from Excel to learn some visualization tools like we have Power BI, we have Tableau, we have QuickLink. Well, the top are Power BI and Tableau. So you can learn those skills. Then to add to that, we have Python. You can also learn Python, you can learn our language. And then if you want to be like a Superman, a business analyst with some sort of superpower in data analyst, you can add some development skills like APIs, because now data are being collected through APIs. You can add APIs. APIs are application programming interface. So you can add some development, that is development of APIs, or you can just understand what are APIs so that you can source your data from there. And on top of that, because being a data analyst is not Power BI. Let me just make that clear. Because people like, okay, if I know how to use Power BI, then I'm a data analyst. No, data analyst is far more beyond that. So as I was saying, you can now add some knowledge on cloud computing, because people are now storing their data on the cloud. So cloud computing, we have Azure, we have Amazon, we have Google Cloud. And on top of that, again, you can learn some big data, like how you can collect data from big data platforms. Like we have Adobe, as Samia mentioned. So now, if you want to move on to the GOTS level of being a data analyst, GOTS level, you can learn JavaScript, and specifically a framework in JavaScript known as Vue.js, because Vue.js will permit you to somehow develop some particular visuals that are so proprietary that you will not use the visuals that Tableau will provide or Power BI will provide. You develop yours and then present to the stakeholder. So as a business analyst, if you want to somehow, if you are in the data role and you want to learn data analyst, that is how you start from. That is from the statistics and the probability, the mathematics or the arithmetics to a certain level, or if you want to move to the gods level, you combine everything that I mentioned up to JavaScript that you can develop your own visuals using Vue.js and all that. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Power BI. I know that you're an expert in Power BI. I'm going to come to you for training, please. But yeah, thanks so much,
You're
Derek, for
welcome.
all those recommendations. Thank you to Samiha for all of those recommendations you shared. And that's where I stop. I'm going to stop asking my questions here because I know that the people who have joined this session, they have questions to ask, they have contributions to make based on their expertise. So now I want to give them the room. So to all of you who have been listening, now is your time. If you have any questions for Derek and Samiha, please raise your hand and speak. Feel free, express yourself. It may not be a question, it may just be that you are also experienced in one of these topics that we've discussed and you also want to add on to what they have shared. So please feel free, raise your hand or put your contribution in the chat. Joyce Bisa. Please go ahead and introduce yourself also so that we get to know you a little bit briefly, and then you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Florence. I'm Joyce Bisa. I'm a student of Catholic University of Central Africa, also called Université Catholique d'Afrique Centrale in French. I want to know, is the question, I want to know if there is some domain that are compatible with business analysis, because sometimes I heard about that the person is business analyst and also is in IT, in the domain of IT, like Samiha. Or I also heard about a person who is business analyst and in the domain of supply chain, for example. But I never heard about a person who is business analyst and is also a doctor or is in the army. So I want to know if there is a compatibility or if there is some domains that are compatible with business analysis.
That's such a good question. I don't know if Derek, you want to answer that.
Okay. Well, business analysis since is a process of change, and process of change, like if we have a problem, you want to solve that problem. That is change. If you have an opportunity, you want to bring in that opportunity so that you can gain more. So business analysis is just a process of change, and as such, it can be applicable in all domains. In all domains. For example, let me take this example. If our moms are very good business analysts, for example, if they are cooking food, they will say, okay, for two people, I will somehow spice the food with 2 cups of Maggi's. With 4 people, I will spice it with 4 cups of Maggi's. So that is somehow some sort of analysis that you are doing. So in all domains, if you are in the army, definitely there are processes in the army that you try to optimize. So it is not only in the domain that is in the IT domain, because I know majority of the business analysts that we have today, they are mainly in the IT domain. So people are somehow they are confused that, okay, maybe business analysis is only for IT. No, if you go to the civil engineering domain, you can also be a business analyst in that domain. By somehow, for example, while I'm not really an expert in civil engineering, you can somehow optimize the use of the number of blocks to raise a wall, or the number of the quantity of cement. So you can analyze all that. And in all domains, whether it's in supply chain, logistics, finance, for example, you can be a business analyst working in maybe in one bank to analyze the credit. Can be a business analyst that you are there to audit. So it is somehow everywhere you can apply analysis. As long as you are trying to optimize something, you are a business analyst. If you think that today you have to eat 2 plates instead of 3, that is you are trying to optimize your food. You're a business analyst. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Derek. And the only thing I'm going to add
Okay,
to that,
thank you.
the only thing I'm going to add to that is the simplest definition of business analyst I keep in my head is someone who identifies the current state and helps to identify the future state, and also helps to define how to get from the current state to the future state. So which is usually the solution to the need that they have identified. So with that, it really can be done in any domain. Some are more popular, like the IT, but actually that activity itself is, you can do it in every domain, including in your own kitchen, like Derek said. So yeah, Joyce, I hope that was that answered your question.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Then.
I really like the question, the answer very.
All right.
All. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you too, Joyce. And next, Yannick, please introduce yourself and then say what you want to say.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Yannick I'm a master in management, and now I'm working for the National Employment Fund. My role day by day is to help people who are looking for opportunities for financement of their projects. So I have some questions. This is my first time to be in contact with the IIBF Cameroon chapter. I have some few questions, 2 main questions. First of all, I want to know what is the place or the importance of a certification in the BA domain. And the second question is that, starting from scratch, how to choose the specific domain when it's coming to build a pathway for the BA or DA profession. So that are my 2 questions. And for you, the other question general question is that how to be a member of the to be a member of the IIBA for Cameroon chapter, and what are the advantages for the when you are a member of that organization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yannick. I hope I got all the 3 questions. So the first one was about what is the importance of certification for a business analyst. I'll tell you from my experience, I worked a few years as a business analyst before I got certified. What certification gave me as an advantage was, first of all, in the process of getting certified, I learned a lot of the best practice for business analysis. I learned the best practice, and it really improved how I did my job as a business analyst. And the second is there's some recognition that you get. And because the certifications, especially the certifications of the IIBA, are globally recognized, once you have the certification, no matter where you are in the world, people will recognize that you are a professional business analyst. You know how to do business analysis in different contexts as well. So there are two things. First of all is to upskill yourself, and secondly is to get the right recognition. And that also gives you a boost in terms of growing your career, in terms of negotiating higher salaries as well. Once you have that certification, you are not you are talking from let's say a higher, higher vantage point than someone who doesn't have a certification when you are negotiating your compensation. So these are some of the advantages. In terms of, just to connect with the third question, how to join the IIBA Cameroon, what is the benefit of being a member, and so on. So the IIBA Cameroon chapter is part of the bigger IIBA organization, as I mentioned earlier, and there's only one membership. You join IIBA. You join IIBA as a member, and you can do that from iiba.org. I'm going to put it in the chat. Or Derek, please help me put that in the chat. If you visit iiba.org, it gives you information about the IIBA and also information about how to be a member. Once you are a member of IIBA Global, you can join any chapter that you want. So you can immediately, like let's say automatically, if you are located in Cameroon, you are part of us in Cameroon. You can participate in our activities and everything. And the advantage really is, first of all, if you're interested in certifications have a fee. Once you are a member of IIBA, your fees are discounted, and it's quite a meaningful discount. You will appreciate it. The other thing is access to the business analysis body of knowledge, the BABOK, is completely free for members, as well as a lot of development content that the IIBA puts out. All of that is free for members. So you have access to a lot of information to build yourself up as a business analyst, and you also have access to the community. So the IIBA Cameroon community of professionals who, of course, exchange information to help each other grow. So these are some of the advantages. I think your second question was the path. Which path do you choose? Maybe you can repeat that question so that I can answer it properly.
Okay, I wanted to know for somebody who is starting from scratch, how to choose the domain which can be suitable for that person, because you have many domains in which business analysts can operate. So how can I choose my domain, IT, medical domain, or so a lot of domain, but how can I choose my own? That's my specific question.
Okay, I have two answers to that. The first answer is, what are you interested in? The domain that you are interested in, you can practice business analysis in that domain, actually. And the second answer is, if you go through the BABOK guide, the BABOK guide presents different perspectives of business analysis. So IT is one of them, Agile is one of them, business intelligence is one of them, strategy is one of them. So if you read that, you can get a better orientation of what is being done in these different perspectives. And that can also help you make a choice. So these are the two ways to approach it. And a third one is also to talk to a lot of BA professionals, find out what they're doing. Like Derek, for example, what he's doing as a business analyst may be different from what another person is doing, may be different from what I'm doing. And so if you talk to different people who are working in very different companies and industries, you may find something which resonates with you. Yeah, that's how I answer the question. I'm available if you want. We can have a chat afterwards, and I can tell you also how I have worked or I am working as a business analyst, and maybe it can give you some inspiration.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the answers.
Thank you, Yannick. Okay, I'll come to you, Jacques, in a moment. Alex, Alex mentioned that becoming an IIBA member also gives you discounts to our events. Okay, yeah, that's a very good point, Alex. As IIBA Cameroon organizes paid events such as the physical afterworks, and some of the study groups and the trainings, if you are a member, then you have discounts to these events. Okay, thanks for that, Alex. All right, a quick response to Regina. What are the costs of the certifications? I would recommend for you to go to iiba.org and look at the certifications page, and all the details for the different certifications are there as well. Okay. All right, so Jacques, over to you. Please don't forget to introduce yourself. I can't hear you, Jacques. Is your mic open? Can't hear. Still can't hear. Either you can disconnect your headphones, or you can type in the chat. No, okay. Now you're unmuted. Can you say something? Maybe I'll hear you. Sorry, no, I can't hear you. Please write your question or comment in the chat and we will look at it. Okay, Willie, you're next.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Willie Tematu, member of AEBA chapter, Cameroon chapter, IT manager and developer. And I'm also a trainer. I'm currently trained with Gael on process optimization and reengineering. I'm too glad to participate on this BA meetup. I'm here many things, I understand many things. So I'm trying to begin by say thank you, you, Florence, and Samira and Derek for all the information, all the knowledge. So I'm too glad. I just have a little bit question. In what context can we encourage a business manager like a TO to work with a data analyst? That is my question.
Please, can you say that again?
Okay, in what context can we encourage a business manager like a GO to work with a data analyst?
A business manager.
Yes, like a GO, what do you call it? You say in French, chef d'entreprise.
Ah, okay, okay. CEO. Okay, all right. All right, I get you. So
Okay.
in what context can we encourage a
Yes.
business leader, like a CEO, a CXO, to work with was it business analyst or data analyst?
Data analyst, data analyst.
A data analyst. Derek.
Okay, if I get the question is in what context can we encourage a CEO in an enterprise or an organization to work with a data analyst? Is that the question?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, in the context in which the CEO will always somehow based on the activities being carried out in that organization, the CEO would like to have insight in order to take decisions. So, for example, if I say I'm a CEO in an e-commerce company, where I somehow publish goods online, different type of goods like chairs, tables, cars, and all that. So I'm the CEO of that company, and I'm the promoter of that e-commerce. So me as a CEO, I would like to know among all the product and the services, which one is bringing in more income, because I'm very much interested. That is what I'm interested into. That's what I'm interested as a CEO. Which one, which product is always out of stock? For example, how much did I make last month, this month, and how I can somehow increase my 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 monthly income. Then another example I can someone take is what are the age group that are so much interested in a particular product? So as a CEO, that is what I would like to know. Might be every month or every 3 months. I would like to have those information. So from there, the best person in that situation is a data analyst, because a data analyst will be able to give me those answers. How much did I make last month? Which age group is interested in which product? For example, which product is always out of stock? So from there, I will know how to adjust my services and product. And I can even go as far as integrating data scientists. For example, if I want a system where if you, for example, if you are between 25 to 35 and you are somehow interested in a particular product, I can with dice somehow ask my data scientist to train a sort of model or develop a model whereby between that age group, I can propose you different products that I know will be somehow that I know you'll be somehow interested in. You'll be somehow interested in those products. So that is how me as a CEO, I can work with my data analyst to understand the trends of my product and my services, as well as a data scientist to develop some sort of machine learning model to propose products, for example, between an age group of 25 to 30. Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, Florence, William, the
yeah.
president, told me that if you need the help to read the question of chat, I'm there.
All right, perfect. Thanks a lot, Willie.
Okay.
Samiha, I'd also like to hear your take on that question about when does a business leader need to work with a data analyst?
Okay, I think Derek has fully answered it. Maybe what I can, Derek has basically answered it. I think it's a data analyst or data analysis skills come in when you need to understand, like you have data, but you want to get insights from that data so that it can help you derive a particular decision. So that is when you need a data analyst, because if you have raw data, you can't interpret it. Me having records of people's names and just like Derek has said, if I have like records of my clients' names, and then I also have records of sales, that doesn't speak much to me as a business manager or as a CEO. I want to be able to gain insights from that data. So that's when a data analyst comes in, and then they do their magic of visualizing the data, doing the exploratory analysis, like computing those statistics, and then with that, they can be able to convey the meaning of the findings of that data. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Samiha. Really, is there a question
Yes.
in the chat?
Yes, exactly. The question for Ms. Tsala, Jacques Kevin. He has two questions. The first is, for a newbie, what the simplest roadmap for someone to become a data analyst or business analyst? That is the first question. The second is, it's necessary to have a background knowledge in the industry we aspire to operate as business analyst or data analyst.
Okay. All right. So let me try to answer these, and maybe anyone else can add to it. So for a newbie, what's the simplest roadmap to become a data analyst or business analyst? One of the simplest ways to do it is to get thrown into it, like I was. And when I started working as a business analyst, I was thrown directly into the role, and I had no idea what a business analyst was supposed to do, but I learned on the job. That's one of the simplest ways, but you may not always have control over if you are getting that kind of opportunity or not. Another very simple way is take advantage of this community of the IBA Cameroon and our trainings. One of the certifications that we train for is called the ECBA. And it is particularly targeted to entry-level business analysts, to give you an introduction to what business analysis is all about and how you can apply it, where you can use it. So definitely connect with us, and we will guide you on that journey. And to become a data analyst, I'm going to redirect you to Derek, because he gave us a very good guidelines earlier. Please connect with him. The IBA trainings currently are very much focused on the business analyst professional, as Derek said, the umbrella of business analysis. And then you can go into more detail with maybe a CBDA, but that's maybe a little bit too far ahead. If you're an entry-level professional and you really want to get exposure into data analysis as well, please speak to Derek, and he's going to give you some really good tips. Is it necessary to have a background knowledge in the industry? Yes and no. Yes and no. You can learn about the industry as you are working as a business analyst, because one of the things that we do as business analysts very well is to learn about our context, acquire a lot of knowledge about our context, from our stakeholders, from interviewing them, from observing them, from reading documentation. We have to gather information all the time. And that means that eventually we become like knowledge hubs in our organizations, where we are able to connect the dots in many different places, not because we initially started out as experts, but because we had to learn that information in order to do our jobs as business analysts. So yes, you can work as a business analyst in an industry without having pre-knowledge of that industry, because you can learn on the job. But on the other hand, it's also a huge advantage for you if you already do know about the industry. Whatever the case, you can always acquire knowledge. If you're targeting a specific industry, read about the industry. There are so many resources out there. Now there's ChatGPT. When ChatGPT is not hallucinating, yes, it gives you some very good introduction into the industry you're interested in. You can do some research. You can also seek out professionals in these industries and talk to them. That's a way for you to get some pre-knowledge about the industry. So no, not having initial knowledge about the industry should not stop you, because you can always acquire that knowledge. Okay. I hope
Florence, can I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so maybe just to add on to what Florence has said, I think the initial steps would be to understand the roles, because I believe some people can't differentiate between a business analyst and a data analyst. So having that understanding and that thorough understanding at the start is key. Then if you have that understanding, then you can also be able to, like subscribe or enroll for online courses. There are platforms. Let me speak on the data analysis side. I'm not from business analysis, but there are platforms like Coursera and Udemy, Udacity that offer free courses. Some of them are free in data analysis, statistics, and related tools like Excel, SQL, and Python. So some of the courses you have to pay for them, but then they also have those free courses. You could start with the free courses. Then those courses will help you learn the essential skills. Then as time goes on and you want to gain practical experience, you need to be able to work on projects personally, because there are those open source projects that you can use to apply your skill set, like apply the skill set that you gained from the classes that you took. And then you can also take on internships. I see so many internships on LinkedIn, whereby they are seeking out people who want to do some work in data analysis. And then even looking at sort of like case studies and analyzing like real world case studies will help you understand the application of the concepts that you would have learned from class. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for adding that, Samiha. And I hope this answers your question, Jacques. If you have further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, contact Samiha, contact Derek, and yeah, contact IIBA Cameroon in general. We would love to help you. Okay. Kalex, I know your hand has been up for a while. Over to you.
Thank you, Florence. I have to apologize. I have a lot of background noise. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you clearly. Your earphones are doing a good job of filtering.
All right. Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Kalex Yonika. I'm also a data analyst. I work in the market research and information services industry. I'm going to start with a fun fact, actually. I have a friend. I've been pushing to get into data analysis. And she told me she saw a school with a signpost saying, become a data scientist in 1 month. I was like, okay, maybe you should check that out and give me feedback after 1 month. So thank you very much, Derek and Samia, for putting down this path for us. I really wish she was here to get how detailed this is and the efforts that are needed to become a full data analyst. So my question, what I would like to understand from Derek and Samia in their industries, usually we don't hear a lot about data engineers because you see maybe the data scientists doing everything from scratch, building the pipelines, analyzing the data, doing the visualizations, building the models, and all of this stuff. So I want to understand from Derek and Samia in their industries, do you usually have somebody that is just a data engineer, just building the pipelines, and you the data scientist building your models on top of the data, or how is it like in your industries? Now I'll struggle to hear because of my background noise.
Hello, I've got a question. That's a very good one. So I know those are rare because for some it's just a new term that has been coined, but where I work, we actually have data engineers who are dedicated to doing that work. So our roles are clearly defined. We have data engineers who are responsible for building the infrastructure and doing the piping of the data. Then you also have data analysts. So we also have data scientists that are doing just for them that it's more of developing the models that will do the prediction. So for me, my work, I don't do data engineering work. I do only data science work. So there has been that distinction where I work because I realized there was a need because each of those roles requires you, just like you said, you cannot become a data scientist in 1 month. That's interesting. So each of those roles comes with that. Okay, like you have to do a lot of groundwork before you become like a data scientist and data engineer. So what we do at our workplace, we clearly define the role. Data analysts do different role, data scientists do their work, even data engineers do their work. But I've also talked to colleagues whereby you find one who is responsible for doing the data engineering work, and then they are acting as data scientists, and then they are also acting as machine learning engineers. But it turns out that the work becomes like a lot for them because all those tasks require something. Like you have to have a particular have a particular set of skills to carry out those tasks promptly. Yeah, I hope I have answered you.
Okay, if I would just like to add to what hello?
We
Hello?
can hear you.
Yes,
I
Okay.
can hear you.
Well, I would like to add to what Samia said. You know, being in an industry, those are separate roles. That is data engineer, data analyst, and the rest. So being a data engineer, you can also, for example, if you are in an industry where they collect data from IoT devices like intelligent sensors, intelligent cameras, and all that. So you're also responsible of setting up or putting in place the infrastructure that will collect data from those different sensors. So those sensors will somehow ingest data into the platform that you set up. So, and from there, in order for you to facilitate the task of a data analyst, a data engineer also makes sure that the data collected, for example, an intelligent camera, the data is in the format that the data analyst can easily work with because we have different data formats. And it is your responsibility as a data engineer in that industry to make sure that it is actually in the appropriate format. So if it is in the appropriate format, you can now somehow permit the data scientist or the data analyst to tap from that source in order to carry out the task. So that's what I wanted to add to what Samia said.
Alex, I hope you were able to hear Derek as well.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Derek. Thank you, Samia.
A question I'm curious, Alex, what is your focus at the moment? Are you more of a data engineer or more of a data analyst or more of a data scientist? What would you say? Oh, I think Alex didn't hear me. All right, that's fine. Now let's see who else wants to ask a question or add a comment. I'm waiting to see who is going to raise their hand. Samuel Wanki. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I am Samuel Wanki. I am an IT architect, and I've been interested in, I've been seeing IIBA Cameroon chapter on LinkedIn for a while. Also, thanks to Florence and a couple of other people I've known in the past. And I thought I should join today and see what happens and how it happens. First, I would say kudos, the organization, the discipline, and the structure of the meeting is very mature. I appreciate that. I also noticed there are quite a good mixture of attendees from young, eager, dynamic people and quite experienced professionals. That's also good. So I think we've had a lot of questions around how to get into data analysis. And we've had quite some questions about the role of business analysis, how to get into business analysis and the role of a data analyst in an organization. I think, first of all, except you are employed already and you get a role as a business analyst, as Florence said she did, if you are unemployed and you are struggling to get certified and from your certification get a role, I would advise you to take parallelly interest in a particular industry. At least you know a company that impresses you, you want to work there. Try to learn about that company and learn something about that company, because as Florence said, business analysis is knowing where you are and knowing where you want to get to and mapping out a course that is realistic in a smart way. So if you don't know where you are in terms of what the business does, you don't know where the business wants to go to, what the competitors are doing, where the pain points for that particular industry is. If you have a steep learning curve, if you are a newbie in getting employed and everything, if you're already employed, you don't get that curve, that challenge. If you are unemployed and you want to get into business analysis, try to pick a company that really pleases you and try to study their business, ask some questions. Feel free to reach out to people who are already there, people who are doing business analysis. Ask them, anybody in this industry, I need to know more about the industry. That's it. Secondly, about data. It's very interesting because us in Cameroon, we don't really have data. A few companies have data lying there where you can really use tools like Hadoop and everything to exploit that data. If you are talking about data analysis, we talk a lot about reporting, about climbing up the ladder from data to information, to knowledge, and to intelligence, right? And then this executive level of an organization uses intelligence to make decisions and to define strategy. But how does the data at the bottom of the pyramid get there? The data analyst also has to work with the business analyst to know the business and define an internal master data model that is going to steer the information thirst of the organization going forward. So it's also what you put in that you get out. We should not focus only on what you get out at the top of the pyramid, but what you put in as well. And there you need to work with business analysts as a data engineer, data analyst, to define the master data model of an organization, most often in conjunction with international standards for that particular industry or compliance for that particular region or what the company already knows and what they do. So I think that's what I wanted to add to that, those two streams of discussion, getting on the ladder and using data within an organization. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Samuel, and you really bring an interesting perspective of an architect. And I think this is something that we need to explore in the future, get the perspective of enterprise architects or solution architects and how they collaborate with business analysts. So I'll be pursuing you, Samuel. Please get ready. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Let me see if there's anyone else who has something to say. What's happening in the chat? Willie has posted a job advert for data analysts. So yes, there's a company looking for 2 data analysts, and IIBA Cameroon has posted on their behalf. So if you're interested, contact those, reach out to IIBA with those numbers that the information that's on those flyers. This may be your opportunity to get into the data analysis space. You never know. So thank you, Willie, for that. And thank you, Kalex. Thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, let me see. Anyone else wants to add something? This is your last chance before we move on.
Okay, I will share again a contact for IIBA Cameroon on the chat. So if anybody needs more information about IIBA Cameroon, just follow this contact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Willie. Okay, if there's no other question, I'll comment, that's still fine. I really encourage all of us to connect with each other. If you heard someone say something you were interested in, or if maybe their job description or their industry or their expertise interests you, like that's why we have these events, so that we can get to know each other, we can connect with each other, and we can share our experiences. So connect. Okay, now let me move on to the next part. Imagine that we're almost at the end. I told you guys that 2 hours will go by super fast. But yeah, let me continue to share my screen so you know what I'm talking about. So I did say that there will be a quiz, and that with this quiz you can win some prizes. So first of all, let me present to you the prizes, whet your appetite before I move to the questions. So we have 4 prizes today. The first one is a 10% discount for our study groups in English and French. For those who are interested in certifications or just getting trained in business analysis, you may be super interested in these study groups. And the next one is a 10% discount for process modeling training. I think this is Willie's training, right? Or maybe you are a co-trainer or the main trainer, I don't know. But yeah, process modeling is a very important tool for business analysts. I super recommend this training. So you could get a 10% discount. And the next one is a 10% discount for the BA meetup happening in Douala. I mentioned the next BA meetup is in person in Douala on the 6th of June about AI and the future of business analysis. So if you're interested in going there, you could win a discount today. And finally, there is a tool where you can do like a self-assessment for your business analysis strengths and weaknesses. And if you win this prize, then you have access to one of our IBA members who is going to take you through this exercise and discuss with you, hey, what are your strengths and weaknesses? It's a sort of survey, but you can also have a discussion alongside that survey. So you could be interested. And Nestor, I don't know if you're already raising your hand because you've won one of these prizes in your head, or if you have a question. Nestor.
Please, Florence, we have one question on the chat. Can we take it
Yes,
after the quiz
we
time?
also have someone raised. Is it the question from Nestor?
Yes, it need to want to know about the event of 18 June about the study group online, the French study group online.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, please. Can you go to the IIBA LinkedIn page, and you will probably see information about that there. Otherwise, maybe Alex, you really, if you have some chance to drop information here about it, and that will be really helpful. Okay, that was Yannick asking of. And Nestor, do you have a question or comment? Nothing from Nestor. All right, so I'll continue. Nestor, if you have something to say, you can do that. You can do that on the chat. Okay, I stopped sharing, and now I'm going to ask the questions. Question number 1. I didn't tell you the rule. The rule is the first person who answers this question by typing the answer on the chat is the person who wins. So you need to answer the question correctly, and you need to be the first person who answers. We can also say the first person who opens their mic and shouts out the question. That can be chaotic, but it can also be fun. So let's see, the first person who answers the question correctly. If you open your mic and say it, that's fine. If you write it in the chat, that's fine. But you win if you're the first. Question number 1, very, 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 very simple. Where is Samiha from?
She's from Uganda.
I think
She's
the
from
first
Uganda.
person to answer that question is Yannick. Sorry for all those for all those who wrote in the chat later. So Yannick, congratulations. You won the first prize. Discount to the, I think, English and French or French study translation. The next question is Derek said that there are different areas in which a business analyst operates, even in his company. And so did Derek say that he is a strategy business analyst or an operational business analyst? Which one is Derek?
We have an answer on the chat.
Who was the first?
Ernest NS, NS.
Give it.
Deep
Next
NS.
door, say
I'm the one.
operational.
Who, Ernest? Who?
I say
Deep
next
NS.
door.
Deep NS. I think it's the one
Nestor,
who-
Nestor is Nestor.
It's next door.
Nestor. Nestor was the first to answer.
Yes,
Yeah, I was the
yes,
first.
yes.
Where did you answer in the chat?
Operational. Say the word operational.
That's what it is, you know.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then congratulations, Nestor. You
Thank you,
won
thank
the
you.
prize. I think the second prize was a 10% discount to process modeling training. Let me quickly check. Yes, the 10% discount to the process modeling training. I think Willie can give you more information about that.
Yeah.
Next, I hope you guys now understand the game. The person who sleeps is their problem. On the door of we bang.
So please, will you help me to explain the price? What should I do? I'm like eager to know.
Yes.
Okay, I just share the contact for EDBR Cameroon. You just take this contact and you have a satisfaction about your price.
Okay.
Let me share
Okay.
again.
I should call the number. Is that?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And then next, Samir had some very interesting quotes. Honestly, very, very interesting. And she said, a data engineer is like this is a real life, everyday role that we know. The data engineer is like
Un plombier, ça non?
Exactly. Like a plumber. Congratulations, Jacques. Got that right. And you won the third prize. The third prize is the discount to the next EA meetup event in person in Douala. Just like the other cases, again in touch, we will facilitate. But we're taking note of the winners. Don't worry.
Hello? Yes.
Yes.
I see the office at the ground floor.
Hey. Whoever that is, please meet yourself. Thank you. Okay, then now we have our last question. I have a lot of juicy ones. I don't know which one should I choose. Okay. So Derek said, all change is profitable for an organization. False.
Non, c'est pas la plateforme. Non, elle n'a pas pu être là.
Elle a les propos de
Please. Mute your microphone. Thank you.
Done. Again, Derek said all change is profitable for an organization. True or false?
It's false.
Let me see who won. Patrick Ginu Kameni. You are the first person to put the right answer, which is false. Eric said, not all change is profitable for an organization. Thank you so much, Patrick. Congratulations, you won. The last prize, which was about the strengths and weakness assessment for a business analyst. So congratulations, Patrick. Okay, so that was the last the last question of the quiz and the last piece. I like how your enthusiasm about your prize. Yeah, that was the last piece then of our event tonight. Thank you all for participating. Thanks for playing the game. I hope you all are happy with your prizes, but I hope more importantly that you were all able to get something out of this conversation. It's very special. Thank you to Samiha joining us all the way from Uganda, and to Derek as well for taking the time out to come and really share with all of us here. And thank you to all of you who contributed, who asked questions, or who gave your perspectives. We really, really appreciated you. Thank you to all of you who have participated, and see you at the next BA meetup, I hope, whether it is in person in June in Douala, or the next one afterwards, which will be in July, online in July. We hope that you will be with us again, where we'll tackle a different topic completely. But
Hello,
yeah.
hello.
Oh yes, hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry to come back, but I'm just like being curious. But when I see each and every one of us here, I think we are above 30. But when I say about the job opportunity, they said the age maximum it should be 27. It's just like, in fact, it is the age limit is very small. Yeah, you can talk of age limit should be 27 because that's already screening most of us here. Why faced to start a career in this field. So for me, that age limit is already screening more than half of us here. Thank you.
That's a fair point. Unfortunately, I have no response for that because I don't know who exactly has posted that job. The IBA is posting on behalf of another organization. And these are the criteria that they have put. It's unfortunate, as you say, that it cuts out a good number of people, but they probably have the reasons why they chose that age limit. Anyway, feel free to get in touch, and maybe, who knows, there'll be other opportunities that are a better fit for you.
Okay, I think I have just a little bit of an idea
Okay.
of the company that wants the two data analysts. Actually, it's a junior role. It's a junior role. They want a junior data analyst that can somehow work in that team for a period of 6 months to a year, and afterward, they will somehow move the data analyst to a different role. So that is why they want someone junior to start with.
Okay, thanks. Thanks all for the feedback.
Okay, thank you. So let me continue my farewell message. I'm aware that it's 5 minutes past the end time, and I apologize for that. Once you leave this call, Zoom will send you a link for a survey, and this is like a feedback survey. Very, very short and sweet. But we really appreciate it if you can fill that survey and give us your feedback so that we can keep making these events better and better. And we can also think about what other topics we can bring to this platform to discuss together. So please take the time to fill that survey. We really appreciate it. Otherwise, there's nothing else to add from my side. I really had fun. I really enjoyed this time with you all. I know that it's Friday night. People want to go and party. People have their mapan. People have their projects. So let's let you go and enjoy your Friday night. Thanks again once more to all of you, and have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Good night, guys.
Thanks
Thank
to everyone.